What is up, coordinators and naturals? I am just a simple Newtype, and in this episode we are beginning our coverage of Gundam Seed Freedom Astray. Last time in Princess of the Sky, Kazuhana became the princess and fought off Fairness and his lord Astray. Afterwards, she gave up her power to Lath, who became the new princess. Fairness decided that the Destiny plan isn't worth pursuing. How is he not arrested? Politicians, am I right? This time, Guy will meet a mysterious man who asks him to go up against Lo. He tests Guy to see how far he will take it with Lo, and Kennard pilots the Dreadnought. So let's get into this. Several months after the Battle of Messiah, some races attempt to steal the Red Frame. They have been working with the Junk Guild to get close to Lo. He tears through their races and tells one remaining to get out of there. And George Michaels it because he says you gotta have faith. There's a joke for you Gen Xers. R.I.P. He gets a message to head to Cape Madigan's colony. He has a colony? Oh, Mattias and the clan paid him really well. A change is on the way. Foundation and Compass will soon rise. Fortaleza, a city in the United States of South America. Check out Destiny Astray and Frame Astrays to see the civil war which led to unity. Serpentel notes relief efforts are moving quite slowly. They're heading to a hotel which is a glorified bunker. They say they can relax. Unfortunately, they don't make it and a bomb goes off and flips their car. Kate shows off his new Destroy Gundam. Lo has always wanted to tinker with one of these. Kisato is afraid of it. However, it isn't Kate who is in the cockpit. Guy and Elijah move in towards the hotel while Reed and Kazuhana stay in the car. Piloting the Destroy is Courtney Hieronymus. He was hired by Kate to help with his collection. This is the first time that Lo and Courtney have met. But it isn't the first time that Courtney and 8 have met. They met when 8 was with Jess while he went to Mars. He was a former weapons developer and tester, but he got tired of it and eventually quit. Elijah and Guy move in towards the castle. A modulated voice tells them he will hire them if they take out his attack wasps. What? Cosmic Era has attack wasps? We're just now seeing this? Some have paintball rounds, while some have real explosives. The side wall comes crashing down. It is Loretta in the Goody. Remember, this is a power suit. She takes out the attack wasps, no problem. The person congratulates them as he makes his appearance. They are wearing the same mask that Indy he once wore, but they go by the name Limitless. The masked man asks Guy if he were to hire him to kill Lo. Would he without hesitation accept such a contract? Meanwhile, Lo is looking at a mobile suit. Courtney activates Theta Destiny Impulse in Kate's collection. The ZGMF-X56S Theta Destiny Impulse Gundam is a variant of Impulse Gundam and Zaf's answer to the Perfect Strike and Strike IWSP. This is equipped with the Theta Silhouette. This equips 2 anti-ship swords called Excalibur and 2 beam cannons. This unit has a completely overhauled propulsion system. 4 of these units were made. The core splinter causes issues, and it was cost ineffective as a base model to build upon. This led to the development of Destiny Gundam. It has the Deuterium beam energy transfer system and requires 2 to 3 uses per sortie, as this unit drains battery quickly. This also has the Voiture Lumiere propulsion system found on Stargazer Gundam, as well as variable phase shift armor. Other weapons include 20mm Sea-Wiz, an anti-armor knife, a beam rifle superior to Freedom and Justice's beam rifle, a beam boomerang, and a beam shield generator. This unit is Unit 1. This unit is so perfect they had to justify nerfing it for Destiny. MSV data says that this may have been used in combat, but Courtney gives us concrete data that he used this during the Battle of Messiah. He goes up against Lo and his Red Dragon. He configures his Kaled Fook into what he calls the Halberd form. Damn, we made it through all of Princess in the Sky without saying this silly word. As always, Kisato is concerned. They really just reduced Kisato's character into a constant worrier. That's unfortunate. Elijah tells Guy not to trust this mysterious masked man, but Guy says that he would take the job depending on the circumstances. He seems to know that Guy is a combat coordinator and knows of Elijah's past as well. Limitless says that this was just a thought experiment. He doesn't want him to kill Lo and has other matters he wants to hire him for. At Mendel Colony, a man named Diller Locke is doing some excavating. He wants Serpentel to ensure that people leave him alone. Guy asks him, do you care about the man, or do you care about what the man is looking for? What he is looking for takes precedent, but both are preferred. Limitless disappears. He was a hologram this whole time. Elijah questions if they should go through with it, but Guy tells them they need to be prepared for anything that comes at them. Courtney and Lo are getting the battery distribution of Destiny Impulse to be more manageable. Lo suggests that he join the Junk Guild if he is thinking of leaving the military. In the Junk Guild, they could use mobile suits as tools tools instead of weapons. Yoon and Gene Carey were in similar situations as him before joining the Junk Guild. I guess Gene Carey is a full-on member now. He left to join the Three Ships Alliance for a little bit. Lo was hoping that he could get a Hyperion Gundam from Kate's collection, but he doesn't seem to have one. The Eurasian Federation is tightening up trade restrictions, and he is struggling to find one, which means Lo is going to have to ask that Dick Double V. Limitless believes that Lo and Guy may be the stepping stones to helping humanity. Lo and the Junkers want to head to Mendel to meet up with Diller Locke. At the same time, Serpentel made it to Mendel. Guy is using the second revise. They tell Diller that they need to get out of here. He has a Zaku mass production trial type that is being used for the Endjammer Canceller. So naturally, Guy thinks they should hook up a Lohengrin cannon to it. Approaching Mendel Colony is the rehome. Elijah thinks this isn't their target, is it? Without hesitation, Guy uses the Lohengrin cannon and destroys the rehome. Diller wonders why he did that. It was a fake out. He says that isn't the real Junk Guild. There are many fakes out there. Guy says that you need an Endjammer Canceller to use a Lohengrin. Those fakes were coming to take advantage of his Endjammer just like he just did. They pack it up and get out of there. Diller Locke leaves behind his goon. Lo gets there a day later only to find the place is empty. Something is weird because Lo knows Diller would never leave his goon. Inside the cockpit is a note for Lo, telling him to be careful of what he does. Was Limitless trying to have Guy kill Lo? On the Artigia, Kennard wakes up from a cold sweat for the 5th time in this series. He is going to save the Martians. Kennard also proclaims that he wants to save the carbon-human version of Prayer. After the library incident, some of the Lilies and Prayer left for Mars. He is going to meet with the Junkers before heading out. Meanwhile, Lo got his hands on Hyperion finally. He eventually contacted Fairness, who had some parts lying around Artemis. He had to get the rest of the parts manufactured at Ame no Mihashida. Lo isn't looking forward to that invoice. He also got X Astray, aka Dreadnought, back up and running. The Dragoons were all built at Ame no Mihashida. They don't have any faith that Kennard is going to throw any cash their way. They meet at Junk Alpha. This is Genesis Alpha repurposed by the Junk Guild. Everyone helps with supplies with the Artigia. Also, who is this girl with Kennard? What's your story? While doing final checks before launch, the alarms go off. It is Guy in his Blue Frame D. Kennard wants to launch to help, but they can't miss their launch window to Mars. He has to be fast. Lo will head out as well, but Lo suggests that Kennard use the Hyperion instead of Dreadnought. Lo tells him to trust him on this one. Limitless told Serpentel that their orders are to prevent Kennard from leaving the Earth sphere. They aren't to do any physical harm to him, however. That is when they notice the Red Frame, Hyperion, and Dreadnought approaching. There are 3 units. Who is in the 3rd, they wonder. Guy fires his Dragoons. Hyperion uses Vulture Lumiere to block the attack. He tells him that he is here for Kennard, and his client won't let him leave the Earth sphere. Lo says to Elijah, "Hey man, your boyfriend Goodvair is on Mars right now." They know each other well enough to know that Lo is stalling. The fight begins. Lo breaks something and the debris scatters. Elijah says, "Aren't you supposed to clean messes, not make them?" Got him! Good one, Elijah. Guy figured out what is going on. The Dreadnought is nuclear powered and thus infinite energy. The Vulture Lumiere on Hyperion is powered by Dreadnought, making its operating time infinite. They have an infinite, barely penetrable force field currently. Kennard isn't in Hyperion, however. He is in Dreadnought. Ooh, another psych out. Hyperion is running on AI or minimal functions, probably. Guy says, "Nice weapon made by Lo. Now check out my weapon made by Lo." The Dragoon Tactical Arms tries to penetrate the shield. As they fight, both Prayer and the Carbon Human Prayer tell him to stop. If his mobile suit is destroyed, the mission is off. And if they continue this battle, he won't make his window to go to Mars. He concedes and says that he is a failed test tube baby. Keeping him at the Earth sphere serves no purpose. Guy decides that the Kennard they are looking for doesn't exist, and the parameters of the missions are no longer satisfied. He calls this mission complete and leaves. I don't know, I get that he never fails a mission, but you can make Guy fail a mission over this contrivance. We won't think less of him. Observing is Limitless. Rather than being mad for failing to stop Kennard, he is happy by this decision. He moves on to his next phase of his plan. And that will do it for our first dive into Gundam Seed Freedom Astray. For the first time in a while, the focus is completely back on Lo and Guy. They are the glue that holds the Astrayverse together. You know what? I'll say it. They hold the Cosmic Era together. Suck it, Jesus. Next time, Serpentel gets a weird request. They try to recruit Gina, who is now Last's bodyguard, and they begin to hear intel regarding Ultimate Coordinators. But that will do it for now, Coordinators. Remember, infinite nuclear power on the battlefield is quite the game changer. Peace.